living this great life, you're doing everything you're supposed to do, but deep inside, when you look in the mirror at night, you know you are sad. And you are sad because your soul hurts, because you need God. When God becomes your ally, then no mortal man is worth fear or even respect. I will destroy any mortal man on the planet. I fear one person, and that is God alone. So God just broke your heart on purpose to show you that the way you're living your life and the man you are simply are not good enough. What have you changed since? You need to get up and work so hard that even in the eyes of God, he is proud of you. God loves his creations, which show him their true potential and beauty. By getting up and trying your absolute best and becoming a man of moral standing, he will reward you and bless you.
What do you do when what God gave you to ride in starts coming apart? Do you give up hope? Do you walk away? I don't want you to define success or to ask God to preserve the temporary. See, God promised to get you there, but he didn't say how. And if you're not careful, you will put all your energy and you'll put all of your work into preserving something that God only gave you for a season. God brings some people in your life to get you from point A to point B. The thing you was counting on to get you to the other side. The job you thought you'd retire with. The house you thought you'd have the rest of your life. And the storm got it. How many of you have lost some stuff in the storm? Lost some people in the storm, and it made you feel like a failure. It was a temporary blessing. If it was meant to stay, it couldn't leave. You're in love with what you had.
So understand that the more you pursue someone over and over and over again, right? We all know this from a texting perspective, right? If you're texting someone and there's like 5 or 6 blue texts from you, right? And like one little white text or green text, don't text anyone where it's on green, right? That's your first red flag right there. One text back, what does that convey? That they're more important than you, that they're up here and you're down here, and so you're kind of like looking up at them.
Yeah, it's dangerous to dwell on past mistakes because people sort of define themselves by the worst moments that they've ever had. And if that's the case, like some people are stuck in high school. You know, they're stuck in failures that they had like when they were first getting jobs, and they always think that they're a loser, and they don't like the feeling of failure, so they keep low expectations so that they never have to feel that. You gotta get through it. You gotta get through bad feelings. You gotta get through failure. It's very important. And you get through it by just picking yourself back up and moving forward and going. But it's hard for a lot of people because that sting, they never get over it, the feeling of failure. And they don't have a good support system, like good friends. Like having a good community of friends, very, very important. Because you can feel like down, like if a girl broke up with you, then you feel like you're the worst. You're a fucking loser. Like you're a piece of shit. But then you go out with your friends and you have a few laughs, and next thing you know, you're laughing and you're like, I'm all right.
The universe is extremely giving. If you actually try and you actually want it and you're actually not making excuses, you're going to get what you want. So when I see people who don't have what they want, I consider them losers. If you actually wanted it and you actually tried, you'd have it. You could have anything you want. The universe is super giving. You can have anything you want on the planet. There's not a girl I look at that I want that I can't have. Not one. That's my reality. There's not a car I can't have. There's not a house I can't buy. If I want to go to a yacht, if I want to go to Antarctica, there's nothing I can't have. Bad. Because I've decided to become this man. It's the same for absolutely every single one of you at home. If you want it, you can have it. If you're sitting there saying, oh, but I tried my best and I still didn't get it, you're lying. You didn't try your best. The universe gives it to everybody who genuinely tries. And I know that to be a fact because this world's competitive. We're all competing against each other. And the majority of people don't try. Like I've achieved this amazing life and I've tried very, very hard. But it could have been harder. I mean, was it that hard? About 86% hard. It wasn't 100% hard. Why? Because the competition's zero. It's amazing to me. Everyone's a loser. I can say to somebody, listen, I'll make you $1 million. do this. Oh yeah, but the kids are home from school now.
Okay? Most people's idea of a relationship is completely flawed to begin with. Now, here's the thing. I was reading this book a very long time ago. This is Osho. He wrote the book Intimacy. He also ran a cult in Oregon for what it's worth, so I don't know. But he had some good ideas in here, minus the cult. Osho says that there's 3 types of love, okay? And most people go after these 2 forms and they never get to the 3rd form, which is the most important one. The first form, this is dependent love. This is where one person is down here and the other person's value is up here. Okay, this is how most people approach getting in a relationship with someone. Or if you're obsessed with someone and you keep checking your phone over and over and over again, right? And you feel like they're not reciprocating or they're not texting you back as fast or they're not putting as much interest in you. This falls into the dependent category. One person has more interest than the other, okay? And so he says that dependence is not really love. It's one of the lowest forms because it masquerades as love, but ultimately it's not, because no one wants to be dependent on, right? Or if someone's in a relationship and you're like the caretaker, eventually that role is going to get kind of old of taking care of someone's needs or financially or whatever, right? If someone's really dependent on you, then you're not going to have as much energy for yourself, and that's going to drain you over time.
I've had times in my life where I've thought too much about regrets and stuff in my life, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about that some in the past, like looking in the past too much, right? Or
Right.
attaching myself to the past. Has there been anything along your journey that you've kind of regretted? And then how do you deal with regret?
I mean, individual choices and mistakes, yeah, but ultimately you learn from those. So, like, no. Because, like, even the regrets, the bad things or the stupid things, you learn not to do bad things or stupid things. All those things are beneficial in some way if you can get through them. If you, like, did something that resulted in someone's death or something horrible like that, yeah, it'd be a terrible regret. But I've been very fortunate that hasn't happened. But the dumb shit that I've done or the bad mistakes that I've made, they've taught me. You learn. Like, that's why failure is so important. Like, failing and fucking up and making mistakes, it's very important. That's how you learn. That's how the bad feeling that you get from something that you shouldn't have done or wish you didn't do or wish you did better. Like, especially failing at something where you half-assed it and you just feel like a fucking loser. Like, that just teaches you. It teaches you to get your shit together.
Freedom is a higher need than love. It supersedes it. No one wants to be possessed. They want to be loved, but they don't want to be possessed. So if you come into a relationship or you approach someone with one of those first 2 types of love right there, codependence or dependence, one of you is trying to possess the other person almost. You're trying to control them. And you hear people all the time, I was in a really controlling relationship, right? Or he's so controlling. So let's bring this all full circle. We started this video by saying that when you're over-attached, when you're over-obsessed with people, that actually pushes them away. Now you know why. Because there's 3 kinds of love: dependence, codependence, and interdependence. These 2 push people away, and even if they don't for the first 6 weeks, they will over 6 months, 6 years. It's not a good place to have a relationship, okay? The reason is because people, they don't want to be possessed. Intuitively, you feel this. They need the need of love, but ultimately the need of freedom supersedes their need of love. And anytime you have these, you're taking away their freedom, they will feel that and thus want to run away so they can be free.